Hi, it's Lee from This Is Rammy. I'm just going to show you a few ways in which you can subscribe to the podcast using these various applications that are on my home screen here. I'm using an Android phone, but a lot of these applications are probably available for iPhone as well. So starting off with Beyondpod, just to run the application first, you should probably get a walkthrough. So it's asking you to start. So what it'll do is it'll give you various options for which podcasts you can listen to. A lot of these will be sponsored or most popular. You can just skip this for now. We don't need the tour. So press menu, add a feed, and if you scroll sideways, you've got all the various options here. So you've got international things. So these are all things that, you know, if you've never listened to podcasts before, you might want to have a look at some of these in here. But what we're interested in is This Is Rammy. So in the search box, type in This Is Rammy, press search, and here you'll get the page for This Is Rammy. Press subscribe, and now you can see it says subscribed. If you press back all the way to my feeds, and it's downloading one episode, and here we go, the very latest episode, episode 12. It is just downloading them now. You can see the little download circle going around, and here you can actually see all of the other episodes as well, and then you can press play.
This is Rammy, your locally produced podcast.
So that's how you can subscribe to This Is Rammy on Beyondpod. And now what I will do is I will move on to the next application. Here's how you can subscribe to This Is Rammy on Podcast Addict. So loading up Podcast Addict, it gives you a page with various options and giving you a bit of information on how you can do this. Basically, you press the plus button, use the search engine, type in This Is Rammy, press search, and there we go. Press subscribe. It now says that I am subscribed because the option is unsubscribe. I press the menu again, go back to podcasts, and there we go. And it's just downloading the very latest episode. Anytime you go onto a new screen with this application, Podcast Addict, it will give you a little tooltip, so the little pop-up box telling you exactly what you can do on this page. So yeah, it's basically all of the episodes here. Very latest one being at the top. There's that tooltip again. And to listen, you just press play.
This is Rammy, your locally produced podcast.
And that's that one. So, moving on to the next application. Okay, the next one is my favourite and the one that I use. It is a paid for application. All of these others that I'm showing you now are actually free. But this application here is DoggCatcher. So what it'll do is it goes through the getting started, tells you how many episodes you can automatically download. So I usually say, I think it's 3. And much like all the other applications, it will give you a few feeds that example feeds, so ones that you can subscribe to. You're not actually subscribed to these, so it's not downloading anything. They're just the most popular. So what we're interested in is subscribe. You can slide along to search, type in This Is Rammy, press go, and there we go. There's the podcast, and you've got a subscribe button at the bottom there. Tells you that this feed's been added to your list, so I press back. And here's the feed. Oh. No. There it is. So this number 8 actually means that it's the 8th podcast that will be downloaded. So it must be actually downloading some of these. So let me just delete these feeds, because I'm not going to watch these. All I'm interested in is This Is Rammy, because I am just like that. So delete these feeds. Ooh, there we go. So there's the feed. You can see the little purple pie chart there downloading, giving you the progress of how far it is. Now, one other thing you can do in most of these podcast applications is that you can actually press the, well, for example, in DoggCatcher, you can press the three buttons there, three dots. You can do show notes, and it'll give you a little bit of information about the podcast as well. So you can actually listen to the podcast and look at the notes if you wanted to.
This is Rammy, your locally produced podcast.
One other thing that I like in DoggCatcher is you can actually increase the speed that you listen to things. So that's on 1.4, which is about what I listen to. It's probably a little bit too fast for me, I'll be honest, because I do talk very fast. But what that actual speed increase, the playback speed there does, is it gives you the option so that you can listen to, for example, on the fastest 1.5, I could listen to a podcast at 50% faster. Anyway, enough about DoggCatcher. I do actually quite like this application, and I've been using it for a number of years now. On to Podcast Republic. So this one's slightly similar to the others in that you've got all of these example categories at the start, and you've got a little search button at the top. Now, what I think this is actually going to do is just search in the actual categories that we already have, but let's have a look. Oh no, so the search box is an option at the top that will actually search for through all of the things, even the ones that you've not subscribed to. So here you see, it gives you a little information. Press the little bookmarky type icon to download to subscribe. So I will press that. It's now subscribed. And I'll go to my subscriptions page, and there we go. 12 episodes of This Is Rammy. Anyone that I want to listen to, I just press on it, and I've got the option to play, which will stream directly from the website, download, or I can actually share it. So if I choose play.
This is Rammy, your locally produced podcast.
Stop that. The benefit of subscribing to the podcast is that you don't have to think about it. Whenever a new episode is released, it will actually be sent to your phone, and your phone will just download it. You can configure the applications so that they only download over Wi-Fi, for example, so that you're not going to hit your data. The podcast episodes are not that big. The latest one was, I think, 26, 27 megabytes. But that's, if you don't have a very big data limit, then using Wi-Fi is obviously something that you would probably want to do. Two of the other applications which are not strictly podcast players are Stitcher. So you will log in with your account, and then you can press the search button and search for what you want. So much like the others, you can search, and we should show right up. Well, this one is slightly busier than the others. It's obviously throwing in a few things that it thinks you would want to listen to, and you can add to playlist, or you can just click on here and have a quick look through. You can see all of the episodes. I don't know what Discover is. That's some Stitcher thing. None of those people are anything to do with me. So yeah, you can play the episode like this. Honest, when it plays. Come on.
This is Rammy, your locally produced podcast.
There we go. So you can play it much like the others. You can add that to favourites. And then whenever you next go into Stitcher, you'll have it obviously in your list of episodes. I don't actually recommend Stitcher. We are on there, but it's not the best for podcasts. Last but not least is Soundcloud. Lots of people will be familiar with Soundcloud. It's very much a music location for people. What I do have on SoundCloud is, so I am actually already logged into SoundCloud, but if you weren't logged in, you can do a search much like the others. Do a search for This Is Rammy. You'll find Ram's Bottom Podcasts is the name that we're listed under on SoundCloud, and we do have some other outtakes on SoundCloud. It's the only application out of all of them where I do actually play my play my outtakes. So I'll just find one for you now. I think this is the Stitcher one.
Welcome to This Is Rammy, episode 4. I'm Lee, and I'd like to... Welcome to This Is Rammy, episode 4. I'm Lee, and I'd like to welcome you to the weekly podcast that brings you news, events... Let's do that again. Come on. Welcome to This Is Rammy, episode...
It's not that easy doing a podcast, honestly. Right, thank you very much for watching this tutorial, and that's how you can subscribe to This Is Rammy on all of those 6 different applications. Thanks.